Welcome. Today we're going to learn Parshas Beshalach. So I'd like to start with a yesod from the Rambam in the Meira, Chelek Gimel, Perek Lamed Beis. Here's the question. Right at the beginning of Beshalach it says, V'lo yinocham Elokim derech eretz Plishtim, because Yikomer Elokim pen yinochim am b'roisam l'chama, they're going to be facing a battle, and they will, V'shav Mitzrayim, they're going to be scared and they're going to run away. They don't want to go back to Mitzrayim. Vayasev Elokim esom derech hamidbar. It took them through the midbar. So the Rambam says that the reason why it took them to a midbar was because in a midbar it's very hard existence, and they would develop more courage and fortitude. So when they're coming to invade Canaan, they'll be more mentally prepared to go into battle. So the Rambam asks, if that was the problem, that they were lacking in courage, so why didn't the Rebbeinu Shalom just give them the courage and let them go? So the Rambam says a klal, that the Rebbeinu Shalom never does anything to change a person's human nature. He says, if you want to change your nature, you have to do it yourself. You have to go through a process, something. But the Rebbeinu Shalom will make all kinds of nisim, but he will never change the nature of a person. That is completely up to you and your circumstances. And so this is what the Rambam says. I just wanted to mention that. Okay. So the Klal Yisrael is running away, and the Mitzrayim are chasing after them. Yeah, and they're crying out, Vayitzaku b'nei Yisrael Hashem. They were davening, screaming, and Moshe says, Al tiro, don't worry, it's Yasvuru as Hashem, Yeshuas Hashem, Shas lechem, Hashem yilochem lechem, v'atem tachrishon. You don't have to worry. We're going to have a nest over here. Hashem is going to fight for you, and you're going to see Yeshua. Vayomer Hashem el Moshe, Ma titzak alai. Why are you davening to me? Daber b'nei Yisrael v'yasou. Tell Klal Yisrael they should move, and then they moved, and the Yam split, and they went through the Yam. So Rashi says like this: Ma titzak alai. There was no mention in the pasuk that he was davening. So Rashi says, Lo madnu shaya Moshe oimedim mispalal. That while they were standing over there on the Sfas Hayam, on the seashore, he was standing and davening. Avalei HaKadosh Baruch Hu. So the Rebbeinu Shalom said to him, Loi eis ato laharich b'tfilah. Now is not a time to daven long. She'Yisrael nitzunim b'tzar. Because Klal Yisrael is in a tzara, b'tzunim b'tzara. Klal Yisrael is in a tzara. Now is not the time to be marich b'tfilah, to daven long. Too much davening. Now is not the time. So you see a few things in this Rashi. First of all, you see from Rashi that Rebbeinu Shalom was waiting until he finished davening to give him the command and to go forward and to open up and to split the Yam. He was waiting. He said, don't daven long, because if you daven long, then he's going to have to wait. And if you have to wait, Klal Yisrael is suffering. But you also see from over here that it was appropriate for him to daven, even though he told everybody, we have a promise in Rebbeinu Shalom, and the Yachavda, I'm gonna do this to the Mitzrayim, and Hashem yilochem l'chem v'atem tachrishon. We had a promise. He told them, you have nothing to worry about. It was still appropriate for him to daven. However, to daven, yes, not to be marich b'tfilah. So the question is, why did he have to daven? Why was he davening? So we see in Parshas Vayera, it says, Vayispal Avram Elokim. This is when Avram and Sarah went to Plishtim, to Grar, and Avimelech was punished that nobody in his house could give birth. Vayispal Avram el Elokim, Vayirpa Elokim es Avimelech v'Sishlei v'Samoisav vayeledu. Hashem, Avram davened for Avimelech, and Rabban Shalom cured them, and they were able to give birth. And right after that it says, Vashem pokad Sarah, and Rabban Shalom remembered Sarah, and Vatar v'teil Sarah l'Avram ben. She had a son. So Rashi says, Samach Parshas Lekan Lametcha, to teach you, Shekol mevakesh rachma mal chaveroi, if you daven for somebody, and you also need the same thing, so the answer to tefillah comes first to the person who's davening, even though he wasn't davening for himself, he was davening for somebody else, but he's answered first. Shenemar vayispalel, and then it says Hashem pakad, so shepakto kvar koidem sheripas Avimelech. Even before Avimelech was cured, she already had a child. She became pregnant. So you see from over here that it was the tefillah. It was Avram's tefillah. Even though the malachim came and they promised him next year, Lamayid, next year, Shoiv Oshav Alecha Ke'ez Chaya, that was, they made a mark, and exactly the same time next year, Sarah would have a son. So there was a promise from the Rebbeinu Shalom. He sent malachim, and he promised him that next year, at this exact time, she would have a son. So why did he have to daven? So you see from this that even though you have a promise or a bracha or something, but you need tefillah. Tefillah is like the mafteach from lemata. There's certain maftechas which Rabban Shalom has, and he gives them over shlichim, or keeps them himself, like the Gemara says in Tainas. But for a person to be able to enjoy the bracha, the promise the Rabban Shalom gave him, the maftech for that is tefillah. So Avram needed tefillah in order that Sarah should have a son. So he was davening for Avimelech, and he was nenet tefillah. So the tefillah of Avimelech worked for him, and but he needed tefillah. So over here, even though they had a promise from the Rebbeinu Shalom that there would be a kriyas, that there would be a nes and a Yeshua, but Moshe davened. It was appropriate he should daven because the mafteach to bring the nes is tefillah, so he needed tefillah. But the question is, why was he marich b'tefillah? The Rebbeinu Shalom said he should not be marich b'tefillah, and the only reason he should not be marich b'tefillah is because Yisrael nesun b'tzara, because the people are suffering. That's why he should not be marich b'tefillah. But apparently, it would have been appropriate to be marach b'tefillah. Moshe felt it was appropriate to be marach b'tefillah. Why being marach b'tefillah? You have a promise that's going to happen. You need to have a mafteach to bring that promise to fruition. So daven. But why be marach b'tefillah? The way we understand marach b'tefillah means you're davening, you're pleading, you're begging, please, please, please. Why are you being marach b'tefillah? You know it's going to happen. You just have to press the button, kind of. You have to be mispalel to open it up that there should be that the Yeshua should come. So why? What's the point of being marach b'tefillah? Why did Moshe want to be marach b'tefillah? The Rebbeinu Shalom apparently also was saying that to be marach b'tefillah would be appropriate, but Klal Yisrael soon b'tzara, so don't be marach b'tefillah. So there's another place where we find this idea of being marach b'tefillah. At the end of Parshas Ba'aloischa, Miriam has tzaras. So Moshe davens for her. Vayitzak Moshe el Hashem leimar. Moshe is davening for her. He said, Keil no refon no lo. He said 5 words. Keil no refon no lo. So Rashi says like this. Deima lo herich Moshe b'tefillah. Why was he not marach b'tefillah? Why did Moshe daven a short tefillah, 5 words? Why didn't he daven a longer tefillah? Why? Shlo yiyu Yisrael oimrim achoi so yemedes b'tzora. Klal Yisrael shouldn't say that his sister is in a situation of tzara. V'hu oimer marbe b'tefillah, and he's being marbe b'tefillah. Why is he being marbe b'tefillah? This is what Rashi says. So really, it's very puzzling. I mean, why shouldn't he? What should he do? She has a tzaras. She needs a refuah, so he's davening. So daven short. Why are you davening long? I mean, what else should he do? Why can't he daven long? What's the downside of davening long? Why shouldn't he daven long? And the reason why he wasn't marked with tefillah is because shlo yu Yisrael oimrim, because they're going to say, they're going to come with like a complaint. She's in trouble, so why davening long? Daven short. What does that have to do with them? I mean, it's only because of them. Really, he should be marked with tefillah. You see from Rashi, right? It seems that it would be appropriate to be marked with tefillah, but people would say, why being marked with tefillah? So that's why. But so what if people say? I mean, why is that a problem? Why is that a problem? And what are they going to say? What are they upset about? He's standing and davening. So what's the problem? Why would it upset them so much? So I think we see from this Rashi that what's the idea of being marich b'tefillah? A person davens long. Why are you davening long? What is the purpose? You're davening to Rabbeinu Shalom, you're asking him for something. So make your request, say your tefillah, this is my tefillah, say it sincerely, with full heart, and say it, and Rabbeinu Shalom will chap right away what you want. He knows what you want even before you said it. So now you mispalel, you davened, and that's it. So what is the idea of being marich b'tefillah? You stand a very long Shemona Esrei, davening marich b'tefillah. What is the point of davening a long davening? What is the point? Are you trying to make sure that the Rebbeinu Shalom understands what you mean? What are you doing? What's the point of being marich b'tefillah? So the idea of being marich b'tefillah is pshat. The tefillah itself takes an instant. How long does tefillah take? Rebbeinu Shalom, I'm sick, heal me. Finished. I mean, you say it a little bit more emotion, but how long does it take? But davening is really, the point of davening is to draw yourself closer to the Rabbeinu Shalom. The more you daven, not that you're davening and trying to say it again and again and again, that he'll get the point. You're davening along because you're saying you are the Reifei Cholim, you are the one, you have all the koiches, this, and while you're doing this, you're drawing yourself closer to the Rabbeinu Shalom. So when you daven from a point of kurva, you daven from a close place, not from a distant place. It's much better to daven from a close place than to daven from a distant place. So with being marich b'tefillah, what you're doing, or what you should be doing, is bringing yourself closer and closer and closer to the Rabbeinu Shalom, so when you daven, the tefillah comes from a close place. So Moshe Rabbeinu would have been marich b'tefillah. He wanted to be very close to the Rebbeinu Shalom, as close as possible. Of course, the Rebbeinu Shalom is infinitely far, so as close as you get, you're still going to be infinitely far, but it's better to be in a closer place, more curved to the Rebbeinu Shalom, and daven from such a place than to daven from a distant place. But the problem was that Klal Yisrael looked at Moshe, and they said, Moshe is pale peh. He speaks, he's Neman B'chol Beisai. He is the ultimate closeness that you could be to the Rabbeinu Shalom. You can't be closer to the Rabbeinu Shalom than Moshe Rabbeinu. That's what they thought. They didn't understand. They thought that this is the ultimate of closeness. Moshe, because he was where he was, Moshe was the honor of Mikol Adam, he understood more than anybody else his distance from the Rabbeinu Shalom. To him, the closer you get, the more you understand the distance, and the more you realize that you could always keep getting closer and closer. So Moshe wanted to get closer and closer and closer, that his tefillah to the Rabbeinu Shalom for Miriam should come from a close place. That's what he wanted. But Klal Yisrael thought, why are you davening long? You're close already. You're the ultimate of closeness already. And she's in tsar, so say your tefillah already. The point of marich tefillah is first you draw yourself closer, and then you daven. When you marich b'tefillah, the tefillah itself comes at the end of being marich b'tefillah. After you've drawn yourself closer, then you daven. So they were saying, you are close. How close can it possibly get? Moshe Rabbeinu is as close as it can possibly get. So why are you davening long? Why davening long? So that's why he davened short, because people shouldn't have tinus. They shouldn't be upset with him that he's being married with tefillah, even though he's so close. So he said a short tefillah. But really, what he wanted to do was to be married with tefillah so that he can come closer, and his tefillah come from a close place, and it would be more effective. That's really what he wanted to do. So the same thing over here. The Yeshua that was coming, of course, he just needed a minimum tefillah to open up the mafteach and to bring the Yeshua. But Moshe Rabbeinu was davening, and the tefillah was in front of everybody, so the longer he davened, the more he was miscarved to Rabbeinu Shalom, the more Klal Yisrael would be miscarved. They were together. He was davening in public, in front of everybody. And the more tefillah, the more iskarvas for him and for all of Klal Yisrael. So Moshe wanted that when the Yeshua happened, when the Klal Yisrael experienced this fantastic Yeshua, they should experience it from a place of closeness to the Rabbeinu Shalom, not from a place of distance. They should be very makuriv to Rabbeinu Shalom when they experience the Yeshua. That's what he wanted. That's why he wanted to be marked with tefillah, and it would have been appropriate. But the Rabbeinu Shalom told him, don't be marked with tefillah. Why? Because Klal Yisrael is in Tzora. It would be better if you mark with tefillah, that there will be more kurva at the time of the Yeshua. But Lamaisa, we have to have Rachmanis, and Klal Yisrael, they're in Tzora, so let's do it right away. Be Makatzer in your tefillah, and you so. Let's go. Let's go. Okay, so after Kriyas Yamsuf, they went through the Yam, and all the Mitzrayim drowned, and they washed up on the shore. Vayasa Moshe es Yisrael miyamsuf. Moshe made them leave from Yamsuf. It means they were, Rashi says, they didn't want to. Balkarcham, Hasiyam Balkarcham, he forced them to continue. Why? She'itru Mitzrayim esusayim tachshit izov v'chesa b'avonim toivos. The Egyptians adorned their horses with all kinds of gold and silver and precious stones. And it says, Gedoyla hoysa bizas hayam bizas Mitzrayim. The biza that they got by the Yam was greater than the biza that they got from Mitzrayim. And therefore, Moshe Rabbeinu had to force them to leave. Now, the Mefarshim ask, how could Bizas Hayam be bigger than the Bizas Mitzrayim? It's said that the Nitzaltem, for a kinu, you emptied it. You emptied Mitzrayim. So if you emptied it, so how could what was left be greater than what you took? But I think this is not, this we can answer according to what we said in Parshas Shmos, that V'nitzaltem doesn't mean they took some things. They just took what they were able to borrow from the neighbors, the leichtes, the bechas, the bracelets, the clothing. But Verkino, that the emptying in Mitzrayim, Nitzuda Shem B'Dagon, that means that they took away that Mitzrayim was the economic power of the world. It was dominant power of the world at the time, and they took that away, and Mitzrayim no longer was the dominant power. Who was the successor? It went from one to the other, as we spoke from the Gemara in Pesachim. Okay, so that is not so schwer. But what is a different problem is that it says like this in Parshas Boy last week. Daber no be'ozniyam. This is what the Rabban Shalom told Moshe. Please speak to the people. V'yishalu ish me'ezrayayu v'isha me'ezrayusa kli chesed v'kli zav. They should borrow things from the neighbors. Vayiten Hashem eschein na'am be'ein Mitzrayim. Hashem made them find favor with the Egyptians. Moshe was very highly respected by the Egyptians. So this is the question, what is that doing in this pasuk? That Rabban Shalom gave the Chenam Bein Mitzrayim, so they should lend them their things, their valuables, and Moshe was great and everybody respected him. What does one have to do with the other? Okay, but Rashi says like this, Daber no. What does no means? Please. Ein no eloshem bakosha. Please. Bakosha mimcha, asking you a bakosha. Hazira malkach, tell them, Shalayomer Oisei Tzaddik Avram shouldn't say that in the Brisbane Absorim it says Vavodu v'inu oisam v'achkach yaitzu b'chush gadol. So Avram shouldn't say Vavodu v'inu oisam kiyem b'hem. He was mekayim the part of the Avodum v'achkach yaitzu b'chush gadol loy kiyem b'hem. So Avram is going to come with a complaint. If they don't do this, if they don't go borrow the valuables of the neighbors, so then Avram is going to come with a complaint. So you have to really, push them and, Hiziram, tell them, take. That means they didn't want to. They didn't want to. They want to. What do you have to go, be a Hiziram Akach, it's money, it's things, They didn't want to. They didn't want to take it. So he said, please take it, please. Get them to take it. Why? Because if you don't, then Avram is going to come with a taina. So right away the question is, regarding what we were learning, that if they didn't want to take it, so all of a sudden by the Yam they decided you couldn't pull them away. They couldn't pull them away. They were, the Bizayam, they were grabbing Bizayam, and Moshe Rabbeinu had to pull them away and force them to move. Here Mitzrayim didn't want to take anything, and now all of a sudden you can't stop them. So, what happened? But let's just take a look at this itself, what Rashi says. He says, please, Avram is going to come with a complaint. You were Mekayim the Shibud, you aren't Mekayim v'achiyez b'chush gadol. So, Mimanavshach. Rabban Shalom said it by the Brisbane Absarim. He did say both. So, did he have to be Mekayim both or not? If he had to be Mekayim both, then forget about Avram. You said, do it. You should say, I told them v'yachyesh gadol, so therefore, please tell them to take it. Even though they're reluctant, tell them to take it, because I promised by the Brisbane Absarim. That says, because the promise was not Mechayev that they should take it. So what does that have to do with Avram? So Avram is going to complain. If the Rebbeinu Shalom is not Kaviyachal obligated to give them the Rechush Gadol, so all of a sudden Avram comes and he says, the Rebbeinu Shalom says it, you say, nah, it's okay, it's not optional. But Avram says it, and Avram cares about the money. What does he care about the money? Like he's all of a sudden, they don't care about the money, the Rebbeinu Shalom doesn't care about the money, Avram cares about the money. Why does he care about the money? What is he saying here? So I think it's something like this, that they didn't want to take it. Why did they want to take it? Because Rabban Shalom is making tremendous nisim for them, and he's going to take them out, and he's going to provide for them, and they're going to have everything that they need. Why should they have to schlep sacks of lachlas and bechers and whatever other, tchotchkes they can get for them, piece of gold and silver, big sacks? Why should they schlep these things? It's a terche. What do they need this for? What do they need this for? However, what was the purpose of Achakan Yetzer B'chush Gadol? The purpose was this. Chas or avodim in Mitzrayim for hundreds of years. So there are two ways you could leave. You could leave because, the master will kick you out, throw you out like a dog, just get out of here. Or he could send you away with presents and with a parade and great kavod. So the liberation that the avodim feel it's very different. Either way, they're free, but they're not so free. When they're just thrown out, they're still, psychologically, they still feel avodim. They're still an eved, but you're an eved who's not in the master's house. Now you're out in the field. There's nobody telling you what to do. You still feel like an eved. But in order that you should feel truly liberated, that you should not feel like an eved, then the way that he sends you away, especially it says Kigoresh, he was Megarish them, he sent them away quickly. So the way he sent them away, that would determine how they felt about themselves, how they felt about their liberation. So that was the purpose of the Rechush. The purpose of the Rechush means that when you're leaving, so they're going to give you money to take. And they have great respect for your leader. That you're not just going out these bunch of avodim going out with like a Spartacus leading them. You have Moshe Rabbeinu leading them. You have like a tremendous person that everybody looks up to him. So all this adds to the respect with which they treat these avodim that they are releasing, and that was critical because that was very important. That when they go out, they should really feel liberated. They should feel completely disconnected from the state of enslavement. That was very important. But they felt, okay, so that was important. There was a promise, but they felt that as long as the Egyptians were willing to give them the valuables, they were ready to give them the valuables, and as long as they had tremendous respect for Moshe Rabbeinu, so that means they're leaving with respect. Why do we have to actually take them? They're offering them, they're giving them. We could go, they'll give it to them. Chai na'am, everybody's ready to give you whatever you want. Take my lachtas, take my pechas, take everything. Very happy to give it to you. And Moshe is very respected. So it means we're leaving truly liberated. Why do we have to lug those sacks? What for? So that's a good taina. And that would be a kiyum of the promise of Achkan Yetzer B'chush Gadol, as long as they're ready to give it them. That's a kiyum, and you don't actually have to take it. But Avram will come and he'll say, I don't want this lumdus, they're willing to give it, so if I took it, this and that. Avram says, no, I want them to actually take it. That means then they will really feel liberated. Just because they promised, and it's as if Avram says, this is not enough for me, I don't want this. I want them to actually take it. This is what he said. So Mamela, so Moshe Rabbeinu was mazir them that you have to take it, and this is what's going to make you liberated. You have to take the Rechush Gadol. Okay, so they accepted it. Okay, so they'll do it. So when they came to the Yam, they thought that this is what they have to do in order to be liberated. It's not enough to take those sacks from Mitzrayim. Now we have to take all the gold and silver and precious stones from the horses. So they were doing it because they felt this is how they're going to be liberated. So Moshe said, no, enough. Time to go. I want to conclude with okay. With a point about language. It says, "Vayirdufu Mitzrayim, vayavoyu achreihem, koil sus paroi." Koil sus paroi. Sus is in Lashon Yochid. So Rashi says, Koil sus paroi Lashon Yochid, v'chi sus echad hoya, we only had one. Magid en kulan chashuvim fnei hamakam ela k'sus echad. The reason why it says sus echad is to tell you that even though he had thousands of horses, it was all considered like one sus. So the Mefarshim ask a question. Parshas Vayishlach, Yaakov sent a message to Esav. He said, "Imlovin garti v'aychadoto v'ahili shor v'chamor." I had an ox and a donkey. So Rashi says, "Shor v'chamor." Derech eretz loimer al shvarim harbe shor. When you're talking about many, you say shor. Odom oim lechaver b'layla. A person tells his friend at night, "Kora hatar negoil." The rooster crowed. It doesn't mean a particular one rooster. It means derech Ve'ena omer koru atar nagolim. He's not saying the roosters crowed. He was lashon yachid. So that's a klal in lashon kodesh. That if you have a number, so until 10, it's lashon rabim. Shalosh shonim is lashon rabim. Above 10, it becomes lashon yachid. Arboim shana, shloshim yoim. When you go above 10, then you switch from the plural to the singular. Why? I'm not sure. Maybe because once you get above 10, everything merges. It becomes the units lose their individuality, so they see them as one. I don't know why, but that's the klal. The klal is until 10, it's plural. Above 10, it's singular. We're talking about many. You use the singular. So the Mefarshim ask, why does it say? What's the question? Kol sus paroi. He had thousands of horses. So why does Rashi say v'chisus echad and it learns out that's chashuv sus echad? That's the proper usage. Sus echad is many. It should be sus. You should use the singular. This is what they ask. So we find a similar thing in Vayigash. Kol hanefesh habo Yaakov Mitzrayma shishim v'sheish, and the Yosef was 2. Kol nefesh l'beis Yaakov bo Mitzrayma shivim, 70. It says nefesh. Vayikach Esav ves noshav ves banav ves bnoisav ves kol nafshois beisai. He uses the lashon rabim. Kol nafshois beisai. So Rashi says Esav sheish nefashos hoyloi. He had 6. Vakosav koyosam nefashos nafshois beisai. Plural. Why lashon rabim? Because they served many gods, so he called them nafshois. Yaakov shivim hayoloi, he had 70. Because of koyasam nefesh, so here it says kol nefesh abol Yaakov, kol nefesh lebeis Yaakov, says lashon yochid. But the question is, this is also 6 is below 10, so plural is appropriate. 70 is above 10, so the lashon yochid is appropriate. So what's Rashi saying? Why is Rashi saying that is different? I mean, this is correct according to Digduk. So I just want to offer an explanation for this. An adjective is a word that defines or modifies a noun. You say the big house. The big house, and that house is a noun, big is an adjective. You could say 5 houses, so houses is a noun, 5 is an adjective, which modifies and tells you how many. But there are 2 kinds of adjectives, 2 uses. You can have an adjective which is connected to the noun in the noun phrase. I don't know what it's called, I don't remember from the 6th grade. And then you have another adjective which is called a predicate adjective. You could say the big house, or you could say the house is big. So when you say the big house, the adjective big and the house are connected in one phrase, big house. When you say the house is big, the noun stands alone, and you say it is big. So the adjective is sort of on the outside of the noun, not attached to the noun. So what this klal that we have, that when you have you have a number above 10, that if you go to the singular, is only when the adjective is connected to the noun. Arboim shana, it's connected to the noun. When he said v'hayili shar v'chamar, it's implicit. I had many. So he didn't say many, but he's basically saying I had many oxen. So he's saying I had many oxen, so the many and the oxen are together as one. They're connected in one noun phrase. So therefore, it's singular. However, if it's a predicate, if it's outside, then it doesn't affect the noun. The noun stays plural. Only if you have many nouns and you attach the adjective to the noun itself, then it becomes singular. So it says, Kol nefesh beis Yaakov shivim. All the people, they were 70. This is a predicate adjective. A predicate adjective doesn't change the number, doesn't change it from a plural to a singular. So that's why Rashi has a good point. Why is it called a nefesh? They call nafshos, the way it says by Esau, called nafshos. So over here also by us, when it says kol sus paroi richa parosha, we're talking about there's a noun here. There's not even an adjective. So the noun, without an attached adjective, always, if it's many, it retains the plural. So why does it say kol sus paroi? So Rashi says because only chashuvim kisus echad. Thank you very much, and I hope to see you again next week.